I'm Public Relations Officer Giovanni Herbert, and with me is the Minister for Communications and Works, Honourable Kye Rymer, and we are here at Seatrade 2025. Minister, you've had a few meetings. You've observed what's taking place here at Seatrade. Give us an update of what's the temperature like in some of these meetings with regards to what you mentioned that you would be trying to, meet about for this Seatrade.
Well, Joe, like you said, we had quite a lot of meetings yesterday into today. We are now walking from one meeting. In that meeting, we spoke to one of our partner cruise lines, and we asked about some of the challenges, what are the tourists, what are they saying about when they visit the Virgin Islands?
Yes.
And they're saying that they rate one of the Tortola BVI as one of the best destinations. And there are certain things that need to be worked on, and we discussed those things. And we are looking forward to making sure that the guest experience is one of their best once they're on their 7-night cruise. So during that time, we also talk about how we can partner with some of the small businesses.
Right.
They will offer some technical assistance in terms of how we can get those small businesses into the sphere where they can have an offering for cruise tourism. So we look forward to that as they have other models in other destinations. Okay. So we are trying to partner with them and to see how is it possible that we can have an enhanced product for them.
Did they make any recommendations? Maybe one that we can get that they may have mentioned?
Well, entrepreneurship, that is one thing that they have spoken about, and they're also speaking about how they can enhance the product. Okay. Because their guests, they also see a lot of repeat guests for their cruise ship as well, and they're talking about what they can do different once coming to the Virgin Islands, and certain things we are now working with Tourist Board. Right. To do various products offering to the shores.
That show pretty much the culture of us in the Virgin Islands.
Yes.
I do know that on yesterday too, on day one rather, you met with, again, personnel dealing with some of the cloud that we would have seen when the boats come to port, when those liners come in. What was the temperature? What was the feedback really in that regard in terms of some solutions in that regard?
Well, we are here at Seatrade not just to find out how much more guests we'll be having to our shows, but we want to make sure that our people in our territory as well, they're comfortable. Yes. With cruise tourism. And we have seen in the past few visits to the port that some of the ships, some of the smoke that is coming from the exhaust.
Yes.
So the two lines, especially where we see that smoke coming from, we had direct conversation with them.
Yes.
And we let them to know what the concerns are with the smoke, and we asked them that they try to mitigate against that smoke. Now they're saying that it's mist and it's not harmful, right. But the optics of it,
exactly.
It's something that is worrying to our residents.
Right.
So that is something that we spoke to them about, as well as making sure that, like I say, the product that they come to is a product that they enjoy coming to. So hence, we had those conversations, those direct conversations in terms of what we expect to as a destination from them coming to our shores.
And I do know that at the State of the Cruise Global presentation or keynote, they mentioned that green ports and the regulations that speak to the various locations that you're going at or the ports. There are regulations that they have to meet in order to be able to cruise to those destinations.
Yeah, well, they want zero emissions once they come to the shores.
Right.
So at the Port Authority, we have started speaking about how we can get shore power.
Right.
How we can get shore power so that when they come to the port, they don't have to run their engines as much. And because that will help with the reduction in the carbon footprint and the emissions as well. But we would have to have a multifaceted approach to having those discussions with BVIEC as well to make sure that we have the capacity, because one of those ships in port is about 8 megawatts. It would be required to be able to power the boats.
Like a city.
So it's basically a city on the water. So we want to make sure that we have the capacity
Right.
to be able to accommodate those ships. So the conversation has started.
Yeah.
But what we want is, from the energy standpoint, you know that we want to have a reduction in the way that we produce energy.
Yeah.
Hence, we are going into the STEP initiative where we have gone with BVIEC in terms of bringing renewable energy to all the homes that want it. So in terms of the shore power, we don't want to just add a shore power facility to the port. We want to make sure that the shore power is generated through renewable energy. And that would also decrease the carbon footprint, and that would help with the reduction in producing energy through fossil fuel.
So it would be a comprehensive approach, not just in one location, but that it can extend to the citizens or the territory rather.
Most definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. And you mentioned something there. You mentioned something there that's very important. In that you are not only meeting to see what they can give to the Virgin Islands, but what we can do on our part as well.
Of course.
Obviously there are things that we would have to, ensure and improve upon rather, and then maintain. Speaking of those things, what are some of the things that come to mind? You may have listed them already, but with clarity, maybe you can iterate those things again.
Well, it's no secret.
Yes.
Once they get off the cruise ships, usually they want to go to the beach. Getting to the beach is traversing the roads, and you would know that we're working on a road infrastructure, and we're prioritizing that and making sure that that experience is something that they're happy about. What we are focused on also as a destination is we're more boutique destination. Yes, we are seeing record number 800,000 plus passengers coming to cruise ship. Yes, the report says that 6 out of 10 come back as overnight guests. But we also are targeting the luxury liners, those ships that are coming to our shores where there are about 300 or 800 passengers, so that they can have an experience that is more suitable for them, where there's not like a mass tourism destination. So we are also looking, and we'll see an inaugural call in the upcoming season where we have another smaller cruise line coming to our shores. We've also spoken to them about even home porting and seeing how the possibility of flying into the BVI, provisioning the boat in the BVI, leaving from the BVI, going and coming back from the Virgin Islands. So that is something that we are speaking to them about. Not just that the ships are coming with huge numbers, but we have an overall experience for them. And the direct flights has enticed them that they can get proper airlift to our shores. So that is something, hopefully, with our fingers crossed and with continued conversation, we may see one of the cruise lines, one of the smaller luxury liners, home porting at our shores.
And I know you don't like to do this, but I cannot allow the opportunity to pass and not ask. How soon are you looking? I know you don't really like that question, but I mean, you are in the conversations. You know what is proposed. Even if you were to give it a cushion, the reality of that possibility seems this year or next year. Granted, the conversations go well.
Well, I learned a saying recently. I'm gonna answer the question I'm gonna answer for the question that I have, right?
So in essence, I should ask what questions you have the answers for.
Yes, and that is a question you're asking me that I don't have the answer for. So I definitely would not be able to answer that. Like I say, it's continued conversation. I'm happy that we're actually at this stage where now we can say to them that yes, we have direct airlift from the US mainland, and that is a plus in terms of the conversation, right? But also, we continue with the conversations in terms of what the offerings are.
And I mean, obviously, we're in a technological era where things are advancing, so it might be something a little bit better maybe as you get closer to that time that you're able to unfold regarding those talks. So
Of course,
I
of course. So
anticipate
we'll
those
keep the
things.
public updated as to what is happening there in our shores. So we're at Seatrade.
Yes, sir.
And we have quite a lot of conversations happening.
Right.
And we want to make sure that what we do would benefit our territory holistically. And we want to make sure that we also have that balance in terms of when we have our overnight guests, when we have our day trippers, there is still enough space for everybody to have a good time, and not a complaint that we're overpopulated. So we want to make sure that we sustain our product as well.
Okay. I know that you have a meeting coming up, and we thank you for taking the time to update us, Honorable Minister. So, Seatrade 2025, 40th anniversary. Stay tuned for more.